Oh crap, I forgot to turn that thing on. There we go. It's always something around here. Welcome to Piece of Pat Paints. I'm Pat. I paint pieces. Apparently I don't comb my hair. I was gardening this morning, so and pulling out. I have so many weeds, and gardening is a long, arduous process. If you've never gardened before, there's a lot of work, but it is truly delicious. Although agriculture is strange, I don't know. We might talk about that a little bit and like how we got to agriculture, because it's wild. Anyway, hey, it's Castle. How are you today, my friend? How's Australia? There we go. So yeah, we're very close to having these done. I did a lot of work yesterday on them, trying to get them all. And I found one guy. For those of you who are counting, yeah, it's winter for you guys, isn't it? That's right. Yeah, you guys are the opposite of us. So like it's getting to be summer here. So it's yeah, that's great. It's so fun. I love the fact that we're literally talking all the way across, literally completely different sides of the. Oh yeah, heck yeah, man, the ships are done. Heck yeah. Did you go with the Zeus pattern like you were talking about doing, or did you do something else? That's super cool, man. Yeah, so if you're keeping score at home, you will notice there is one more guy in here. So I painted I painted up a whole guy yesterday to catch him up. No, I forgot which one it is. I think it's this one. I think it was this one. He looks the most like he was done in a single sitting. Yeah, but it didn't turn out as good as I hoped. Yeah, you might think about just a touch of blue in some spots, maybe changing a symbol to blue, or you can do a line of blue on the sails, things like that. The blue should make like the white and the pot of the white and the gold kind of pop more. I don't remember if you said you were doing blue or not, but there's a very it's when you're trying to do like golds and whites and grays and stuff like that, it gets to where the tone kind of disappears on you, especially on the smaller things. It's one of those things I noticed about miniature painting, that you really kind of want to transition your colors pretty hard. Like a lot of time you don't want like the reason these are going to always stand out is because the differences in the armor and the actual flesh are so bam. Use too much yellow. It looks like a banana. Yeah, definitely try a little bit like an ultramarine blue or a Cerulean. Cerulean blue would be good. This one's kind of like a lighter blue. But an ultramarine would look good too. Ultramarine blue, something like this, just as an accent, you know. But it's something about all that stuff. It can start to look a little bit too much of one thing. So you want to have good color breaks. Just from if you want people's eyes to not, because if we had painted these vests like green or something, then it wouldn't pop out the way it does, you know. And we want to make those vests and well, their little skirts. We want to make them pop out. So that's what we do. There we go. Thank you, Steve. Great job. I love this shield. I did put a little bit of a burnt or a raw umber on this shield yesterday. We're going to work on this guy today because I want to be able to show off the shield. We'll finish off this guy's claw for sure. I want to make sure we get a little bit of everything. So we need to do a net, a claw, and a wheel. And I guess maybe one spear. So I guess we could... Oof, no, that's a four-armed guy. We're going to focus on finishing these three little guys. They're pretty much painted exactly like the big guys are. But we want to focus on... This guy was almost done. So we might bring him over too, if we can get to this guy. We have him almost finished. He does need... We're going to do one quick thing for him. Yeah. You should definitely... if you have Instagram or anything like that, send me a picture of your ships. I'd love to see them. Just as a... I like seeing other people's stuff. Hey, it's Sir McBeardsly. Good to see you. Oh man, the Discord is busted again. I am really bad at all that stuff. Maybe McBeardsly can help me figure that one out. He's a little bit more tech savvy than I am. I will try to get that we'll try to get that figured out. I'm also on Instagram. I'm there a lot more than I am on Discord. I always forget Discord exists. A fresh link. Thank you, Sir McBeardsly. Clutch as usual, sir. Clutch as usual. And thank you, Castle, for letting us know that there was something going on there. I think I always forget about Discord, and it's sad because I really, it's usually a pretty good little spot. All right, put on a little bit more red down now that we've toned everything up. And this is crimson set down to a real thin consistency. And sometimes it takes even one more round to like bring it up and redden it out. It just kind of depends on how much of a shadow you like. As you can turn them real bright if you want, or you can, bring them a little dull. There's a lot of different options. This guy was pretty dang close. I think we really have to do with him is do this base, and this guy may actually be done. Okay, well let's do that then. We can have this guy finished. Okay, so we dropped a raw umber on there first. And this is a burnt umber. This is going to kind of give us a little bit more reddish muddiness to it. And we're going to come back and we'll finish off with the Naples yellow again. And sometimes we can also, I think there's a starfish on here. You can also band the scallop shells. A lot of scallop shells are banded. Some of them are darker color too. Some of them are gray, so you can paint them gray if you wanted. There's scallops come in a wide variety of shell colors. Man, I had to shut down. I have to shut it down sometimes. I think that's probably what's happened again. I have it shut down and I've forgotten to turn it back on. Because it does, and it gets crazy. I gotta shut down. I gotta learn how to just shut down channels and leave the channels on that I want to hear from, and then go check the other channels when I'm feeling it. All right, we'll come back to him. We do have to do his little bangles, which brought those paints in to do that stuff with. So, but that guy doesn't have eyes, so I don't have to worry about that. Speaking of Discord, let's check and see what happens. Yeah, we got to join. Heck yeah. Yeah, if I played more games, I probably would hopefully we'd be more into it. But I very rarely get to play games anymore. You know, maybe here pretty soon when my kids get out of the house. Ship them all off to college. I'm not too far from that, man. I'm close. So close. Alright. It's so weird because it's like there's seaweed on the front and then there's like a tower on the other side. I have muted notification muted on most channels and pings and stuff. Drive me crazy after a while. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I need to just go in there and tool it. I unfortunately I always spent all my life back in a kitchen, so like I didn't really do this. I had PR people that did all this normally, so I didn't have to ever. You know, they just come take my picture, take pictures of food, and then they'd go post it all, and I didn't have to really worry much about it. Even when I owned my restaurant, I might sit down and do all the talking and stuff like that, but I wasn't the one really driving the page. Somebody else was driving the page. So I'm definitely trying to learn and keep up. I appreciate the any heads up when things are falling behind, because like I'm kind of a professional and a little bit of a perfectionist. I really kind of, especially once I set my mind to something, I really like having it done exactly right. Which is probably why I like miniatures. But it does lead to some other problems. If you can't get it perfect, sometimes if you're a perfectionist, you just decide you can't do it, and instead of focusing and teaching yourself how to do it, you just be like, oh well, it's something I'm just not good at, and you just move on, which is not always true, and usually a detrimental kind of attitude. So I'm definitely trying to get better at it. Luckily, I have a lot of younger folks in my life that are able to kind of be like, Pat, you gotta do this, Pat, you gotta do that. I appreciate all of you. You're awesome. Matter of fact, I think Sir McBeardsly set up that Discord. I don't even know how to do that. So thank you again, Sir McBeardsly. I think I've decided to go with the phthalo blue on the tabards, which this guy is weird. He's got like a tabard on the back and the seaweed stuff in the front. So I'm kind of starting to wonder if everybody's supposed to have that. Like it's some of them just have a little seaweed on them, while others do not. Kind of weird. We painted them light to paint them dark, but we're trying to make them green with green instead of yellow with green. This is again real thin. We're really trying to get it to pool in the crevices, which is not certain. I don't always want to do that, but when we're trying to contrast something, that's the goal. And we're picking on a completely different set of greens from what we use on the rest of it, so that it'll over. Hey, the sugar snap peas are moving. Nice. Tomato cages. Yep. My I got my cucumbers are now running up my trellis I built, because I built an A-frame trellis. And then, unfortunately, my green beans did not make it. The drought part, or it was a thunderstorm, and then it got really hot, and those died on me. So I might be looking for a green bean plant if I find one. I might just snap it up. But man, we've got a gang of tomatoes. They're all looking strong. They're already caged and getting ready to start growing up into them. And I think I saw one blossom on the Japanese eggplant, which is super cool. I love Japanese eggplants. I love eggplants in general. I like Japanese the best. They're just less mushy. Alright, we want a pretty dry paint here. I suppose you could use a dry brush on this, but I feel like I would mess up my green stuff. So I suppose I could have done the dry brushing first, but yeah. Hindsight 2020. Yeah. Just be careful, pay attention to what you're doing. I really have gotten to where I'm enjoying gardening more and more all the time. I don't know if that means I'm turning into my grandfather or what, but I don't mind. Especially as a chef, you know, I know we just pull it in here and cook it. My wife is a chef too, so it's like boom, boom, just cook it up and eat it up. Oh yeah, I was talking about agriculture earlier, and the gardening and stuff. It brought me into it because I was weeding earlier. So my hair's all crazy. I didn't have a chance to shower and comb it. Yeah. So like, agriculture is a strange thing that we taught ourselves to do, and it became a necessity due to population blooms. Sweet. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Hold on just a second. Get the paint off this brush. So like, we originally started out as a hunter-gatherer society, and then at one point in time, we must have gotten to where our needs outweighed what we could really continue to run around and scavenge. You know, or somebody at least convinced us of this. Some event, maybe the Younger Dryas, maybe something like that. But it's actually detrimental to us. We physically would be better off if we could kind of eat a more varied diet and not rely so heavily on propagated crops like corns and all that stuff. But it's also necessary for the level of culture and technology we have. So you have this weird disposition on agriculture, that the necessity of it for a higher ranked civilization, but also the increased health problems that come along with a population that becomes dependent on agriculture. Because in the beginnings of that, it always is a double-edged sword. You know, where you think about it, Egyptians built mostly all they ate was bread. You know, they had like porridge in the morning, and then they drank some beer, and then they had some bread, maybe with some meat or something like that on it, and they washed it down with a beer. It's just like liquid bread. Especially if you look like at what old beer used to look like. Oh, these are fun. Oh, cool. Okay. All the third rates for the fantasy fleet. Some of those fun. Sweet. The Aqueduct, the Hydra, the Gargoyle, Pineapple, Night Hag, Whirlwind, Ice Spirit, and Sunset. These are so fun. I love the idea of this game. I like the purple slide. That's fun. The gray and the white. That's cool. Makes it easier to see them too when they're brightly colored. That's fun. Little Briggs. That's cool. That's fun. I love it. The frigates were the Pontus, Plum, Splash, and Moonshadow. The Briggs, all of Little Delve, and Plums to Blue 4. That's cool. That's super cool, man. Yeah, I got too many things I gotta play right now, but that looks like the kind of game I definitely would get a little too geeked out on. I should get some just to paint for fun. I can already hear Kristen. She's like, no. I just have to get one of the kids into it. If I can get one of the kids into it, then. Oh, no, he needed the other wash first on this one. This guy does have eyes. Now, I was just putting pearls in for their eyes. They look like little death stares on them, but I may change that. I may do pearlescence and something else. I don't like painting pupils is very difficult, and it always looks a little off. So a lot of times it's better just to leave your eyes, blank. I wouldn't paint them black, but you could always paint them, white, like their power or something like that's coming out of them. That's cool, man. I would definitely play some pirate ship games. I would definitely do that. My youngest might like that game. He's kind of a pirate. I think that one's gonna end up being a lawyer or something. Alright, I'm just trying to grab some of these edges. I want to let that bottom, the crevices, stay dark with the phthalo. Heck yeah, man. Mystery tomatoes. Posted some Discord. Also need to get some tomato plants into the large pots. Yeah. 2 extras. Has no idea what they are. Oh my. That's alright. Tomato is tomato. Or maybe he just didn't know if he gave you a tomato or a tomato. First mini was Halo Flashpoint Master Chief. Decided to pick up Master Commander starter set with Black Seas. Let's see how it went. Oh, nice. It's a fun hobby. I have a blast with it. I definitely get to paint more than I get to play. Just because of schedules and stuff like that. But I kind of always played role-playing games and war games and board games and all that stuff. It's always kind of been a thing of mine. So now I'm forced to retire, and I gotta sit around and figure out what the heck to do with myself. I was like, hey, you know what I could do? I could just paint some stuff. Maybe people would be interested in that. And then my plan was just to kind of like sell them online. And then another friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should get on YouTube and do it on YouTube." And so that's kind of the evolution of how we ended up here. I like the idea of that tabard being blue. Bring that blue back. Green behind it. That way it's kind of hidden. And you can kind of see right here where it looks like you can see that bit of tabard poking out underneath of the seaweed there. So I'm thinking that's what they did. I'll have to be on the lookout for that because that really does that's kind of nice, kind of fun. You can even like make, and they're close to the same colors, but they're not. A little bit more phthalo, just to kind of touch up all these spots that should be a little bit more blue. This guy is almost done. Yep, just kind of keep moving through little bits at a time. If you want that super deep levels of color, like I said, you really have to work in layers. There's no other substitute for it. There's a lot of neat little products you can use to help you make those layers, but in the end, you still have to do the layers. Man, if I should do a Master Chief. I don't know that I've ever painted any Halo stuff. Master Chief would be fun. The visor would be really cool. A bust of Master Chief. I bet you I'd sell. I bet you if I did a Master Chief, I could sell that guy. Sell him quick. But that's kind of the fun thing about doing it as starting another small business is like we do have a lot of places here in Oklahoma that lets you sell, little artsy craft stuff, and the people that are at these shows are usually the ones that are into Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games and stuff like that. So it kind of I kind of think I'll be all right. I just got to figure out exactly what else I need to paint to hit this people that aren't like Dungeons and Dragons people. And some video game stuff would be a winner, man. Master Chief was from the Mantic Halo Paint Kit. Come with starter brush and like 5 some odd paints. Yeah, fun. I'll have to take a look. I'll take a look for it. Or I might find a 3D print. I have a like there's so much stuff out there in 3D print world. And I'm starting to wonder if like busts and stuff wouldn't sell. Army painter. That's not bad. Oh, War Paint Fanatics. I don't know if I know that one. Army painted. Huh. I don't know if I know War Paint Fanatics. I'll have to look that one up. Oh yeah, that's Army Painter. Yeah. That's what. Okay. Yeah, I have some. I think I have some Army Painter stuff down here somewhere. They have a couple really unique. They have some unique metallics, and that's usually what I buy from everyone is the metallics, because like standard art colors, there's not a lot of metallic colors. There's a few of them, which I'll pull out one of my favorites here in a minute, but it's not like something that those kind of companies use regularly, so you don't see as much of it. The hell did I pull that white out for? What was I getting ready to do? I needed a wipe for something. Teeth. Duh. Here's one of those moments where I'm really glad I put him on this handle. He's definitely too small to be trying to hold my old hands. And I try to always pull down on teeth. A little too chunky, maybe. Let's see. I think I've decided I want to bring that red fleshy bit into this part of his mouth. I don't know that we did that on the other one, but after careful consideration. I will say something about these art paints. They dry at a different rate than the miniature specific paints, so you have to kind of get used to that if you're going to use the same thing I'm using. But again, if you're just starting out, I definitely recommend Army Painter, Citadel, Pro Acryl. Pro Acryl is real nice. I've got a couple of Pro Acryl colors. They're really nice paints. Now, brushes are interesting. Um, a lot of people really get wrapped up in brushes, and even if you go out and you buy really expensive like Kolinsky's and all that stuff, you say you spend a ton of money, especially when you're first starting out, you're gonna trash those brushes. If it's your first 2-3 years of painting, don't buy Kolinsky's. You're just gonna trash them anyway. Learn how to take care of some regular. Move up from, you know, Ari Painter is okay. Like, these brushes not bad. It's not. I mean, we put it through some paces, and it held up all right, and it's not bad. And this Monument's not bad. And it's a sable brush. Now, I don't know that it's a Kolinsky sable. It feels like it might be. It's very close. It's good sable. Whatever Monument's using for these. And this is the same people. Monument's the same people that make Pro Corel. So this was a pretty great detail brush. So Monument, they make a pretty decent price. But I bought these other ones. These I bought for a little bit cheaper. And these are from just like a hobby store. And it's a sable brush. And it works out alright. And you're paying a little bit less money for something like this than you are for stuff at like your hobby, at your actual game store. Instead of going like the art store and buying, you know, one of their sables. So you shop around, especially when you're new. Don't get obsessed with, you know, I don't know who all is out there painting, but don't get obsessed with brushes till you kind of get there. I have one real Kolinsky that I use for very, very specific things, because I don't want to tear it up. Because like, to get something that's guaranteed Kolinsky, you got to pay a little bit more money. But the regular sable brushes do pretty good, especially for miniature painting, because you're usually tearing it up. There's something about the edges and all that stuff just tears up your brushes. It's just how it works. But if I'm doing like freehand or something like that, if I got to freehand something, I'm gonna do that with the Kolinsky, just because it's a better brush. Anyway, that's my rant on brushes. I'm done for now. I'll probably rant on it again. Freshen up this guy's yellows, greens and blues, and he should be ready to be done. Really want to get on. Let's see. We need to at least do the steering wheel and finish that claw on screen, so you guys can see kind of how to do that. So we'll move on to this guy pretty quick. At least we're gonna try. We'll move over that. I wish I had a steering wheel on a claw. I don't. I felt when I was putting it together, I felt like that was a bad combo. But now I wish I had, so I could have just painted and we can move forward. And I wouldn't feel so under the gun. We have done the mouth before, so not too terribly worried about doing that, but we will throw the red ink in there. And it does look good, especially once it dries out. It does have a little bit more of a shiny look to it. The ink is definitely the way to go. Like I said when I did it the first time, the reason I use the ink is because it's a little shinier. And this is just an Indian ink, Dr. P.H. Martin's. It's not very expensive. And it's great for that sort of thing. Or if you ever want to make it look like something signed a document or something like that, ink is the way to go. You can buy a glossy paint too. You know, you can do that, but you want to make it look extra wet. Which seems weird, since they're obviously underwater. I should have probably painted them all to look super wet. Should have just glossed the whole thing. But I'm always painting, like, I'm still painting everything out of water, because I don't think, like, I don't make that connection until I'm like, oh, hey, you know, I should just gloss this whole thing. So maybe extra glossy mouth will look right. I don't know. Maybe just being weird. Oh yeah, we're supposed to do these bangles. Bronze. Now I love this one. Is a golden acrylics bronze. I love this bronze color. It is maybe one of my favorite metallic paints of all time. It's so creamy. It's so beautiful. It dries well. It looks awesome. You can even you can oxidize it. Because I've accidentally done that on purpose. So you can actually make the color itself oxidize. So I gotta figure out what does that so I can do it on purpose while it's fresh. On a miniature. It'd be fun to be able to just paint some, you know, put a little chemical on there and it just automatically does the thing. It's super cool. Try your best not to paint the actual wrist. That can happen pretty easily. Looks like I did. The joy of living with cats. Little hairs everywhere. But they keep the mice away. Between that and those massive, that massive snake that's living around in here somewhere. It's a big old rat snake. You know, I suppose we could have gone with coral again on the bangles, but this is fun to have a little bit of a metallic bit. Yeah. Just kind of pop it off. When that dries, we'll probably add just a touch of our old trusty, nasty, grimy metal wash. Don't want to look too fresh. All right. So we'll do this steering wheel real quick. It's pretty easy. This is a burnt sienna coming over the top of it now. It's just going to help make some more tone on that wood. We'll come through and pick out those barnacles next, and then move on. And I want to do that raw sienna on there because it's going to have just another little bit of a tone to the wood, patina maybe, especially on the actual handles on the steering wheel here. You can see a little bit of patina really kind of helps pay off. Get a little bit like there's some sunlight hitting it or something, you know. There we go. Kind of give them a little bit of an outline. Not a whole lot of extra we need to do with them. Should drop down in those crevices and make it look exactly the way we want it. If we have to, we'll put a little bit of a wash on them, but should be okay. Might take more than one coat to get it. Since it's all brown already, it shouldn't, like I said, we shouldn't have to add another layer. All right, now the seaweed, same as the other seaweed. New seaweed, same as the old seaweed. Again, here's that Zenithal really putting in that extra work for us here. A little extra lifting that's almost imperceptible. Maybe just a touch right up here. There we go. Now we got to do something about those masts and stuff, and I don't really want to do the really shiny brass. So I'm going to do this Rune Lore brass, just kind of the same, but just a little bit browner. Any of the bolts and screws that are exposed are the same. Make sure to breathe. Make sure to put in on this. just a little dark around the. We'll put those in. That'll help cover up any, maybe if we had a little bit of a drift, it'll also make it, you kind of want it darker where those fittings are, because the wood will be deteriorating there first. So it's going to have a little bit of a, we can put that on there, a little bit of a darkened spot to denote that that may be happening already. Let's see. That's a heck of a funny angle right there. Really thin phthalo green. You can kind of tell the more difference for that, how that zenithal works when you get onto that backside, especially on this. You see how much darker it is on the underneath due to that highlight that we did early on. Alright, let that guy dry for just a second. Oh, maybe this front piece here. Oof, gotta move on to that claw. I'm running out of time, yo. That is definitely what's going on. There's a tabard underneath the seaweedy stuff, so that is good to know. I don't know how I missed that in the last one. Let that dry off. Now these claws are super easy. From here, we're really just kind of gonna, and I mean you could do this with a dry brush, but I want a little bit more targeted work, so we're just drying out a little bit of stuff off my regular brush. Ain't be dry enough yet. There we go. And just the stuff, just the top, the edges of things, more like we're kind of giving it the sun that it should be hitting. It should be hitting it. Kind of maybe a little bit more towards the front. And you could do this opposite. You could do where it was a little redder towards the front if you wanted. And you could leave them too. You could leave them just kind of stained red. I like a little bit of the fade on it. Give it a little extra definition. Alright. Well, I think all in all, we've done just about all the different kinds of pieces we can. Show you guys a lot of the different techniques you need in order to succeed at painting these Death Chide Jurakins from Artisan Guild Miniatures. You can buy the files. I'm not sure how much they cost currently. Is it STL files and print them yourself. If you don't want to do that, you're more than welcome to contact me, and we can arrange for things to be printed and shipped to you wherever you are in the world, I suppose. I haven't really settled that up, but I think I can ship internationally. I was about to make a bad joke about tariffs, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna stir that pot. Although I don't think we pay them coming our way, so I think it would be paying going the other way. Heck yeah, I like it with that blue there. It kind of goes with it all. Oh, well, I guess we didn't finish up these. He'll say that it's pretty easy. At this point, you just, and again, you can do that with it. We can do this with a dry brush. Playing you my little one, but I'm sure you all get the idea. I have a little one that can actually get down in those crevices. So you can always use your regular brush too if you're super careful with it. Make sure it's nice and dried out. Don't forget the little toesy woesies. Not sure why they have claws and stuff on their feet, but no, they're evil. Everything evil gets claws, right? Isn't that how that works? Even mildly evil. We're still afraid of claws from our primordial existence as hunter-gatherers. Teeth and claws and things with wings that have teeth and claws. We're still scared of that stuff. Alright, there we go. You get the idea. A nice shelly look to it, you know. Well, hopefully I can get all these guys finished up today. We'll see. That's a bit of a tall order. I got a bunch of other stuff I got to get done today too. But you know, we'll see how I do. Hopefully I can get it done and then get them a reel done. Or short or whatever they're called, and get them posted for today. but I gotta go. I gotta go take care of a bunch of other stuff so I can go on vacation. Remember, we're not gonna be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday. We usually here Monday through Friday, but this week I'm on vacation. This coming week I'm on vacation. Go to New Mexico. I'll keep you everybody updated. I'll try to throw like a video or something on there. At different places we're at just for fun. Even if they're just shorts or whatever, we'll try to do something. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Really appreciate everybody who comes by. I feel like I kind of got an idea what I'm doing here, so yeah, I don't know. It'd be alright. I spend too much time sometimes yapping. I should be doing more painting. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Be good to each other. Be good to somebody. Be good to yourself. Just be good. I'll talk to you later.